Hi, friends. Let me share with you this evening about some stories that might cause your hair to stand on end just thinking about them. Because we serve an awesome God, and God does some things sometimes that it just blows your mind. You would never believe it. These are stories that I've been told, and I might tell you one um, of my own experience. So, my girlfriend's son was at university at the time he was studying, and they lived within a certain radius of the school. So sometimes he would walk home. He perhaps would take the taxi to a point and then walk the rest of the way. But she told him to ensure that he would allow the taxi to take him straight home. He didn't want to do that. And as young men are, he would walk home anyway. So one night while he was coming home, he was walking along a very deserted road there, and some guys were sitting on a wall, and he heard them talking. One of them said, "See the boy I come here, we're gonna kill him tonight." And he didn't know what to do because he was much closer to home than turning back. And he just said, "Jesus." And he said the men were coming toward him, and when they were almost upon him, one of them said, "So what the boy there? What the boy there?" And they walked past him, gone in the direction, thinking that he had perhaps turned back. And the young man went home. I'm telling you about it now, and I'm having chills up and down my spine to say that he just called out to Jesus. That's all he had time to say. And the men were blinded. They didn't see him. Remember, now they're coming toward him, and he's going toward them. He couldn't turn back because it was a few of them. And maybe he thinks that if he turned back, they perhaps would outrun him. So he just said Jesus, and he just continued to walk. And they were blinded. They didn't see him, and he got home safely. She said he had another experience when he and his cousin had gone to purchase phone cards. And his grandmother always wondered why they had to wait until nighttime to go and purchase the phone cards. But anyway, they went and got the phone cards, and they were on their way back, and some young men were sitting on a wall. And one of them jumped off and said to him, "We want a girl tonight, we want a girl tonight." And he said to the young man, "No, you can't get her. It's my cousin, you can't get her." And him say, "You can't tell me that. We want her and we're going to get her tonight." And he said, suddenly, a man just came up out of a little place and said his name and asked him if he was all right. And he said, "Yes, man, I'm all right." And the guy who was talking to him said to him, said to the man that asked if my friend's son was okay, "You know him?" And he said, "Yes, man, a good youth." And the guy said to the young man, "All right, go on." Just like that. But when he turned, there was nowhere for the man to go, but the man had disappeared into thin air. The road is stretched out right in front of them. The man hadn't passed to go uh, past him so that he could turn and say, "All right, see him going up the road there." He hadn't gone down the road. He hadn't gone down the side of the bank or anything. The man just disappeared. He saw out of the corner of his eye the color shirt that the man was wearing, but he didn't see the man properly. And he apparently didn't know the man because he didn't know his voice or anything like that. He just knows that somebody said his name and asked if he was okay. And that was that. I'm going to leave you to determine whether or not that was a miracle straight out of heaven. I heard of another young man, somebody that I know, and the person that told me the story, somebody I know quite well. She says he perhaps had just got his pay, and he had quite a bit of money on him, and he was on the bus. and gunmen came on the bus to rob them. And he was beside himself and he prayed. He said, God, please make me invisible. Make me invisible. Don't let them see me. And the men robbed everybody on the bus. Everybody except him. He was the only person that was not robbed. And after the men left the bus and they were traveling along, everybody kept asking, how come them to rob you? How come them to... And he decided to tell them that while the people were being robbed, he prayed and he asked God to make him invisible. And he was made invisible. God answered his prayer. Now you tell me, do you think that was a miracle? He is there standing in the bus and they robbed everybody and they didn't rob him because he apparently became invisible to them. Is our God mighty or what? My friend told me also that he and his sister got into a tussle, maybe verbally. And it got out of control and threatened to cause problems in the relationship. So he was really very bothered about it, to the point where he was coming home and he was in a cab and he was so uneasy because he's saying, how is it that this little thing just spiraled out of control and is creating a problem between my sister and I, my loving sister and I? And he said he was uneasy and he prayed about it. He talked to God about it and asked the Lord for a resolution. And he said when he got home, his sister just came toward him and hugged him and the problem was resolved. He didn't say anything at all to her, nothing. But God must have spoken to her heart, so she was able to come to him and they hugged and I guess they talked about it and the problem was resolved. Is that a miracle? Do you think? Do you believe that God answers our prayers? He hears us in our time of need when we really, really want him, in the split second that it takes for him to hear and to answer. He does. One night, my girlfriends and I, along with my daughter, had gone to get ice cream. And we were having a good time. We were just so happy. And we had ice cream and we were on our way back. And when we got into the yard, nothing seemed out of place. And usually sometimes when we get home, if they dropped us, we'd stop and chit chat a little bit. And we were chatting. I think not a lot of chatting because my daughter got out of the car. She walked up the steps to open the grill and I was putting my leg out of the car and then I stopped because there was a gun in my head. The guy said to me, give me the money, give me the phone. I don't make the noise, don't make the noise. So I calmly said to him, I don't have any money, just coming from church. And my girlfriend, she wanted to pee. So she said, Angela, why you don't come out of the car? And I never answered. And she said, knowing how fresh I am, she just couldn't understand why I never responded. So she turned to see why I was still sitting there, knowing that she wanted to pee. And then she saw the gun in my head and she started to scream. And by the time she started to scream, my other girlfriend who was driving slapped her and said, why you don't stop the noise? And she turned and looked and she saw and both of them started to scream. And I said, stop the noise, stop the noise, stop the noise. Don't make the noise. Don't make the noise. And they calmed down. But my girlfriend who was sitting in the front, she was ready to run away. So she opened the door and the guy with the gun in my head rushed away from me and rushed around to the side to prevent her from running. And that's the time now I saw that another guy was there and he had my daughter's hand and was going down the stairs with her like mad. He had a gun in his hand and he was coming down really quickly. And he put her to sit down beside the car. And he had the gun and he was watching to get his cue from the other guy to see what they were supposed to do. And the guy took the keys from my girlfriend and he locked us into the car. And about 3 minutes after they had left, I started laughing. And somebody said, "Why are you laughing?" And I said, "Because we're sitting here in the car and we can come out. He has locked it and gone with the keys, but we can come out." So we realized that we came out of the car. But while we were there, a neighbor who had heard the screaming called me to find out if I was okay. And I said no, because gunmen just held us up and robbed us. And she said she had heard the dog barking incessantly and she heard walking beneath her window. But she never really paid it much attention. So we called the police and they came like within 8 or so minutes and asked us to describe the men and to tell them what happened, and we were able to do that. But you know what? I had a good laugh because my daughter drew a gun that she said the guy that was holding her had, and the gun had 4 mouths. So I think I've never seen anything like that before. So the policeman said it was a homemade gun, and I went to the internet to look and I see that they actually have some like those. And they dealt with us and left, and I walked out a little bit and saw we found the car keys. Happily we found the car keys because they just threw the keys away and went about their business. And I was able to retrieve my handbag. Most of everything was missing mostly, but I'm trying to remember if my health card was there. Something else might have been there, but how I was able to find it was that I had met a girlfriend in the pharmacy the same night, and I hadn't seen her for a while, so I'd given her my number, or she had given me her number. I don't remember, but there was an exchange of numbers, and so the gentleman who made the call, he found the handbag in his field and he saw the name and the number and he called the person. And because my girlfriend knew where I lived, she called somebody who knows me, and the person said, the gentleman said he found my bag and I'm to come and retrieve it. And I went, got it. I think I got back my health card. I think I lost my driver's license. I don't remember. A few other things. But, you know, that was that. And I'm saying God took care of me. And I am so very grateful that I'm able to tell somebody that God is able to take care of us. And he gives us little miracles on a daily basis, you know. And sometimes, although they're miracles, we don't even recognize that they're miracles because we just think that it's just something, and sometimes we might think it's a coincidence or anything like that. Even when I was in the hospital, I told you this already, that when I got the meds, that was not meant for me. I put the meds in my mouth and the water, and I'm about to swallow. Before I actually put the water to my mouth, I said to the nurse, "What's my name?" And then I put in the water and I'm about to swallow, and the woman said another name. And I spat out everything because I realized that those meds were not for me. That was not my name. So, yes, God gives us little miracles every single day of our lives, whether we know it or not. If you were to just introspect, you would realize that you got a miracle earlier today at some point and you didn't even realize that it was a miracle. Yes, so just think about it and give thanks and praises to our Almighty God who takes care of us every single day. I feel so delighted, so loved, so cared for because God looks out for me. Blessings, my friends. Remember to subscribe, to share, leave a comment if you will, and press the notification bell so you will hear what I have to say next time when I upload my video. Have a good one. Bye.